See what happens. Hopefully, there's no confusion. Maybe it did something else. Let me see if it did it. Okay, yeah, so it did something else. We gotta exit that out. Go into live stream. Delete that joint. Okay, yeah, so that's on. On save. Jamil, what up, man? What's good, bro? Yeah, so I was trying to get it to do something else, but it's all good. Just leave that alone. Mud dog in the building. What's good, y'all? What up, Dar? Yeah, I've been good. I've been good. Hopefully you good too. What's the word, AC? Been watching them ARC streams. Yeah, I've been on ARC. Noti gang, I don't suck much, but I'm an old head, but support your craft. Salute, man. Appreciate that, Ramble Nation. So we talking about. Oh, this was Showtime. Showtime. What up, man? Appreciate the support. 48 hours away from home. How's the weather? Just as bad as ever. Just as bad as ever. All right, let me get to the chat the way I normally know how to get to the chat. I was just watching your video on the beef. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to know, I want to keep my finger on the pulse. Curious to know what the 2K community feels about this stuff. What up, Hop? Tron in the building. EC in the building. I'm okay dealing with the flu, but in good spirits. Way to keep your spirits high. That's the best way to get better. Definitely keep your spirits high. Hopefully you get better soon. I stayed up till 5 a.m. playing ARC. Oh Lord. I don't even wanna know what Sweaty Tron on Arc Raiders looks like. I don't even want to know that. Coach Z in the building. Yeah, so we covered the drama between two of the largest creators, Joe Knows and Badge Plug. I think what a lot of people kind of skipped over, which I kind of brushed over in the video as well. I didn't want to harp too much on it. Get to the Caribbean for some sun, man. Too much snow, yeah, too much snow. There's ice out there. He said, I swear I was just raiding. That's cap. But yeah, some of the things that I think Joe Knows put more emphasis on this idea in his video, that both Badge Plug and Joe Knows have participated in the tournament that we have presented. So like Joe Knows had mentioned, I think this was more so the reason why like it wasn't said before Joe Knows video is that it kind of took away from the hype, like the hype of the game between them, even though it was 3 years ago. It was a while back. We host tournaments in our Discord and they faced off against each other in the finals. But something that was, and maybe that's why Badge felt a certain way, because when we were setting up the bracket, we made sure to put both Joe Knows and Badge Plug on the opposite sides of the bracket. And if they made it to the finals, they made it to the finals. It just so happened that they both did make it to the finals and faced off against each other. And Joe Knows put emphasis on what happened in this video, which I thought was dope. Salute to Joe Knows for doing that too. He didn't have to do that, but I thought that was dope. It helped to prove his point of what he was trying to make, that they had already faced off. They played each other. They played 4 scrimmage games, and they also played the finals in the All City Live TV tournament. That happened. That took place in our Discord, and you guys are all welcome to join our Discord. All you got to do is type !Discord. We're still continuing to host tournaments. What up, Mikey? We want to do a lot more, by the way. We want to get a lot more things going. So we were talking with the team earlier today about getting on the comp scene. Like, all cities should have a team on the comp scene, and we should be ringing bells out there. So that's what we're going to be doing. The good homie All City Tron is going to be leading the way. It may come a point in time where we're going to reach out to you guys to see if any of you that feel you're ready for that level of gameplay may want to come out and participate or try out and see if you have what it takes. We don't need no beginners, no newbies, no, I think I'm sweaty. No, your whole silver plate playing only in the rec center, you are not ready, period. One thing about 2K26's skill-based matchmaking is that it'll allow a consistent silver plate to believe that he's ready for the highest levels of competition. Until you get out there and you're playing the highest levels of competition. And like Koza had mentioned, salute to Koza, by the way, for taking Badge Plug's spot and shining at that. At that level, all your mistakes will be exposed. Any mistake you make will be exposed. You're trading buckets every single possession. Sometimes it comes down to one mistake in the game that'll win or lose you the game. Don said, I'm ready. What up, dog life? What's good, bro? I agree. That's what used to make 2K lit back in the day. Facts. Dougie Fresh, he cloud chased the boogeyman's name. It appears that he ducked when he didn't need to. I would bet the rematch later in the month or next month will get more views. That's just me though. All right, so let's clear up what happened, because maybe we could shed some light on how Badge Plug was feeling, because even internally when I'm talking about this stuff with my team, folks on my team, and I don't mean my pro-am team or anything like that, I mean my Discord team, the All City, all of us All City guys, there was mixed feelings about this. So what actually happened was Badge Plug felt that the Black Market team had a certain level of pull within that league. And I don't want to put words in Badge Plug's mouth, so if Badge ends up coming through to this live stream, hopefully he can correct me, or if anybody knows any better, hopefully they can correct me. But from what I understand is that the Black Market team had asked to face off against the Dream Team, Badge Plug's team, in the first round of the playoffs. And it just so happened that the first round of the playoffs had came, and sure enough, the Dream Team was matched up against Black Market. And I think Badge kind of found that suspicious. Now, there's my take on it. My own personal take is that regardless of what, first round or last round, I think the people just kind of wanted to see the game. I think the league owners, I think they were in the Dunk League. I think it was called the Dunk League. I think the league owners didn't want to risk placing them on different ends of the spectrum in the bracket, because, you know, what if Badge Plug's team lost or Joe No's team lost, then they wouldn't end up facing off against each other, because, you know, you're in the playoffs already. So, and I think there was about 30 teams in that playoff. So, yeah, Don said Badge Plug showed text proving Black Market asked the league owner to match them up in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, you know, this is exactly what I shared in the video, what Don had just mentioned. And that's what Badge Plug found suspicious and felt like there was some rigging taking place. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know exactly how I would feel about it. But one thing that I do know is that all eyes were on those two teams. And I think from the league owner's perspective, they probably didn't want to risk any one of those teams losing and not getting to face off in the first place. So it was probably in the league's best interest in regards to content and hype for the league, building up the league. It was probably in the league's best interest to match them up in the first round and not risk the prospect of them matching up against each other. Yeah, I can't say it was in the Black Market group chat or the league chat, but it was shown that they had wanted to be matched up in the first round, and coincidentally they were matched up in the first round. And I think that was too much of a coincidence from Badge Plug's perspective, and he felt like there was some rigging taking place in regards to the positioning. But what I'm getting at, although I feel this way, I feel like whether they faced off in the first round or the last round is irrelevant. We just wanted to see them match up, the best team move forward. But But that's a viewer's perspective. That's not a player's perspective. That's a viewer's perspective. Something else that I wanted to touch base on is crazy because Badge's own teammates were, he should want that smoke. That's how I kind of felt. Spanish Jose said first round finals, he should want that smoke regardless. It's how I lean. I lean towards that, but it's different. Now, here's the difference here. This is where things get, where you could kind of, because I feel like you, Jose, no matter the first round or the last round, we just, let's go ahead and get that smoke. But this is a difference maker that Badge was trying, at least this was Badge's perspective on it. He's running with a team that is hard to put together in the first place. And he knows that he's going to play the final boss. He referred to Joe Knows as the final boss. And he felt his team didn't have enough games over the course of the last 2 weeks to compete against the final boss. So I guess he was hoping that the playoff bracket, he could run through at least a couple games in the playoff bracket at that super high level of competitive gameplay, and then meet Joe Knows at the end. I think that's what Badge was thinking, because they hadn't played in a while. So it was difficult. He says homie had just got a new job, and it was difficult to get them even on the same page, him and his team on the same page. And here they are, the first round of the playoffs, and they're going to go play the final boss. So that was Badge Plug's argument. Is it a legitimate argument? I think it's a matter of perspective. If it's a legitimate argument, it's a 5v5 game, and at that level of gameplay, it's not like Park. Yeah, it's not gonna be like a Park game where, every single person plays an intricate role on the court, an equally responsible, equally important role on the court. That's how it is at those levels of gameplay. One mistake is all it takes. King Blue said, and I share this sentiment, at least from the first sentence. King Blue said, you can't sign up for a Comp Pro League and then claim that you're unprepared to play. I said the same thing in my video. If you're unprepared, then don't sign up, plain and simple, respectfully. And I kind of share that sentiment. But when you see that, I believe that Badge and his team were prepared for any other team but the final boss, like he described. Maybe he just needed, a couple more games in the playoff bracket to kind of get to that level. It's, again, a matter of perspective. I don't know. I can't say right or wrong necessarily on that, because if you do so happen to match up in the first round of the playoffs, knowing that you're not prepared, but knowing your team has the potential to put on a show against Black Market, or at least make it competitive when they're playing up to par and their chemistry is fully intact. But if you're going into that, and I could only share this from my own personal experience playing on way lower tiers of competition, but getting our team together to get out there and play is, you need an act of Congress sometimes. So I get that perspective, and how one person missing could disrupt the entirety of our game plan to play again, or to play at the highest level. So showing screenshots is 6ix9ine type of ish. What up, Blair? Who wants to get bumped in the first round? Now this is where the community comes into play, and this is what Joe Knows was stressing. And like the homie said earlier, if you signed up for the Comp Pro Am League, then you should always be ready, no matter who you're facing. But I think Joe Knows' Black Market team is like a step up, so it's not like you're just playing any old team. But I agree, you should always be ready. It just so happened to be coincidence that they matched up in the first round. At least that's what at least Badge Plug felt like it was a little too coincidental. Rigging the first round, I'm not rolling. I don't necessarily, in my opinion, and I'm from a viewer, it is what it is. And I know if I was in the game, it would have been what it was. Well, we just got to get out there and get this smoke. We're getting. If I didn't have the chemistry built up and I knew we were lacking in chemistry leading up to it, I would have said, "Well, we got to go ahead and take it." And y'all at 4, I would have told the team, "Yeah, this is y'all doing. Y'all wasn't ready. Y'all wasn't this. Y'all wasn't available." There had to be some politics going on because his own man's Badge Plug's own man's was wilding. Like I said in the video, to have my own peoples wilding on me enough to the point that Joe Knows was able to make it public. Hell no. I know that might happen once, but it won't happen twice. Not my own man's. I don't care what level of gameplay you on. You could be the best 2K player on earth, let alone your country or whatnot. You try to play me like that. The homie said his, for lack of a better word, his punani, Badge Plug's punani hurts. That's how he responded. Such high levels of disrespect. I feel the same way, Tron. It shouldn't matter who you play. That's exactly where I was at. It shouldn't matter who you play. You should always be ready. But then again, that's why I was adding to that as well. When you know that the team you're facing is super top notch and they're always going to be ready, they're always put together, they're always running with each other, and then your team is like wishy-washy. However the cookie crumbled, I feel you should be ready to play. But from Badge's perspective, I could get why he may not have wanted to play. Now it's the next step. Now the next step is I would have handled things differently. First of all, if I wasn't ready, we wasn't ready, I would have probably reached out to the league owner and said, yo, maybe you could mix up the bracket and give us a round or two because folks haven't been ready. Folks, just explain the scenario. My homie's been working. They hadn't played in a week. And you don't want the first time that you get back on the game to be against the final boss. But I would have hollered. I would have messed around and hollered at Joe Knows. Joe Knows, you good with it? The pool between them two together would have surely got them to go another round or something like that. I don't understand. Things like this I can't understand because I would have definitely reached out to Joe. I would have reached out to the league owner and try to set something up. Give us another week or something. Give us another team to face off in the first round, and we'll play them in the second or third round if it's necessary. Would have been like, bet, let's bounce them out in the first round. What you say, Tron? Last year, and the Thunder swept the Grizzlies, so Badge loses that argument trying to set up later dates. People need to understand the more you play, the more chemistry you develop. It's facts. Can't be running a tournament, allowing players telling you where to place people at. Well, I think there's a different case. I don't think. I get what you're saying. It should always be like that. That legitimately, it should always be like that. But it is hella coincidental that they faced off in the first round. That is hella coincidental. And I think it's different for both Joe Knows and Badge because this is a lot of content. You know what I mean? Like, these are the stars of the show. Do you get what I mean to say? So I think they had leverage to kind of, in other words, no other team was supposed to be beating them. So these are the dudes who are going to end up in the finals. And it would have been crazy if you would have asked to get another week to play a different team. And then, boom, one of them ends up losing that week. That would have been insane. He said if that happened organically, it's different. And I agree. If it happened organically, the way they matched up happened organically, case closed. It is what it is. If it didn't happen organically, then somebody's at fault. Now, is that good enough reason not to get on the court? And this is the step further. This is the next step over that I'm getting into, where it's just like I said, if I wasn't ready, I would have hollered at the league owners and hollered at Joe Knows and say, yo, we haven't played in a week or 2 weeks. Can we get another team to match up with first round? And then we'll play each other in the second round if that was absolutely necessary. I don't think I would have done that, but if it was absolutely necessary, playing at the highest levels, maybe I would. Especially if I consider the idea that it didn't happen organically. The next step over, which is where everything gets foggy, the next step over is Badge sending his team to play against Joe Knows in the league game, in the playoff game, minus Badge Plug. So that's the next step over. This is where, in my eyes, things went really wrong and really to the left. Because my team is not going to get on the court without me if I'm available. And I think that's where things went wrong. And like Badge said, in hindsight, looking back on it, he should have played that game. It just so happens, that his team pretty much aired him out, aired Badge Plug out. Again, it'd be your own man's. Somebody needs to get slapped. Maybe Badge is not slapping anybody, but maybe he doesn't have full control of his team. These are probably grown men, but the way in which they disrespected Badge is insane. That's just my opinion. I don't operate in that way. But the homies basically told Badge's opponent that Badge was here and he didn't even want to play. He was coaching us on... He was coaching us the whole game. He was there during the game, after the game, before the game. He didn't want to load up. Like I said, B, what I really think happened, what I really truly believe happened, is that they were about to load up, Badge was ready, and Joe went live and showed the beard he was wearing. When Badge Plug saw the beard that Joe Knows was wearing, Badge said, "Oh, hell nah, we're not doing this." That's my story. I'm sticking to that. That's what I believe happened. Dude probably think Black Market was going to pick him up. And that's Dougie Fresh said they felt disrespected with him backing out. Now, that's definitely something we could explore. If you're the teammates, how do you feel about... I would have backed out my team. I wouldn't have let them go. Like, we ride or die type of stuff. I would have told my team, "Yeah, we got to reschedule, bro, because this is not right," or whatnot, if I was feeling some sort of way, but I would have not let them go. Maybe Badge didn't have the opportunity to back them out without still being able to stay in the league. Yeah, if you guys would like to run the tournaments that we're hosting in the All City Live TV Discord, the All City 2K Discord, you could type !Discord in this live stream chat. The link will come up. You could join today. It's free to join. Bro, try to invent a coach build. Man, yeah, wildin'. So I felt some sort of way, you know, and like Badge said, in hindsight, he felt he should have played that game. He played Joe the very next day. So they played, last night? Even if you backed out, I would never disrespect or clown you to the... Never. I know you wouldn't, Don. I know Don wouldn't do that. I know Don. That's the thing, is that, you know, and to me, that's another aspect of this thing. I know when you get on the comp scene, they're on a different type of timing. Like, respect, like, this is why I can't be on that comp scene, because it's made for a certain type of people. They could handle that stuff. I can't handle that stuff. So if I found out my homie disrespected me in that way, I'm going to try to trip my own teammate on the court. I'm going to be a 6'1" guard trying to set screens for my own teammates. Yeah, because, man, the level of disrespect, bro, the level of disrespect. And I said, well, I know I can't handle that stuff. Yeah, they're using you. Yeah, they use you for their own benefit. And I get that. I'm in the Discord already. I'm just gaining VC to update my player. All right. He said Badge needs to clean house. And then Buddy backed out trying to code. So, I mean, you know, we got everything up. I mean, we can review everything. I have everything ready to go. She Shifty TV said, "It's the coaching part for me, man." I kind of feel that way too. Like, if you weren't going to get on the court, then you shouldn't be involved. You definitely shouldn't be coaching. But the fact is, they played the very next day and they got it hashed out. I wouldn't help it. I think when you're at that level, you can't help but watching and try and coach. But of course, the community is going to have questions as to why you didn't show up. You had, at least what Joe displayed on his video, you had Bauer straight putting in the title, their matchup, Badge Plug versus Joe Knows. And Bauer had to tell his audience, oh, disregard the title. Joe Knows didn't show up. By the way, Koza showed up and showed out. So salute to Koza. Did his thing. I saw some of those plays. Koza was cleaning in a different way too. That's the beauty of it, that these guys play different. Something different out there. So I thought that was really nice to see Koza using the moves that I try to watch Koza's video and practice the same moves that he was showing. I said, hell no, that joint too hard. I could barely do it with no defender in front of me, let alone try to do this stuff with a defender in front of me. I said, Koza's a different type of animal. I am not trying to, I break 6 controllers before I get those moves down and activate them in game. What up, J Fool? What's good, bro? OGKD says soft and corny beta moves. Played next day to save face. Not enough for me. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. Yeah, Koza's definitely elite with his own play style. And by the way, Koza had left a comment in my video, the most recent video. And I've been clowning Joe Knows's beard, just messing around with Joe. And it just so happened that Koza said, it's funny that I brought that up because they were saying that nobody's going to load up to play on Badge Plus team until Joe Knows shaves. I'm just I got my beard going. I'm just trying to channel my inner Joe Knows. So it's cold out there. That's the type of time we on. Man. So yeah, that's pretty much what was going on. We have everything up, like I had said. We can review it in this live stream. I need to plug in my headset so that way we can go through it. What up, DJ Fury? Said, love your content, family. You speaking facts on these 2K cheaters. It's really sad we can't just grab the sticks and play like we used to without cheating or mods. It really is sad, DJ. Jake Forever said, why do we care if Badge plays Joe? Never thought Badge. Yeah, Badge has always played comp. Yeah, Badge is a player. I watched Joe Knows come on the scene and straight take over. I remember when Joe Knows started Pro-Am and he was playing so differently. I was just like, I don't know if he's going to be able to sustain them sweats out there. And Joe stuck with it, a true professional. He stuck with it at his own pace, with his own gameplay style, so different from everybody else, and dominated everything. Appreciate you not screenshotting Koza's comment. Oh, man. With the erasable pen, erasing people's memory. Badge on Joe level, I don't follow comp. I can't. I'm not going to attempt to act like I follow this, like I super follow the comp scene either. I'm not going to act like that either. But at least the understanding that I have is both these guys play competitively. Comp hates 5 out. That's what was different about Joe Knows' play style. They wasn't ready for that 5 out, huh? And he was going crazy. They couldn't. He was moving. It was something so strategic and smart about Joe Knows' gameplay, especially during those early years, watching him dismantle all these teams and their strategies with what Joe Knows put together. He believed in it and he followed and pursued it and made it happen. Ended up the top dog out there. So much so that Joe was collapsing leagues at that time. Other leagues they had to like reconsider whether Joe was even going to play. Joe and the black market team were even going to play in the league because other teams were backing out. Yeah, Joe is definitely the poster child. Salute to Joe and what he does, man. It's truly inspirational, like truly inspirational. Just the fact that he molded himself into that player and hit the scene the way he wanted to, and it's all over from there. After all this, I hope Badge realizes he doesn't need to, in my opinion, cloud chase, and they run it back in a month or so. So there's some, I know those are strong words, and I can imagine Badge Plug, if he was watching, he'd be like, I wasn't cloud chasing. So in Joe Knows video, he shared that let's just get to it. Let's just go to it. It's better than me. We can talk about it when we see it. Let me just get to it. I had to put on my headset. Yeah, it's better we just kind of get to it instead of me. I don't like speaking on stuff I don't necessarily know. So we're just going to get to it and let them tell their side. What about Long John's? He constantly calls movements and plays and actions to get other people open, not just himself. Yeah, he does this well. He does it really well. Badge Plug team did the Will Smith slap with the comments. Yeah, they did. All right. So we're gonna get into it. I'm pretty sure I have it up on their game ready. Let me make sure. Make sure I don't have no other window open. Okay, yeah, we should be good. We'll start with Joe. And we'll work our way from there. And I know y'all gonna be like, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? But just keep in mind that Badge has a response, a rebuttal to what Joe Knows said. We'll maximize this joint and we'll just go and hit play. I got it maxed out. Yeah, all right.
You've probably noticed over the last few weeks that a lot of content creators have made their way over to Comp Pro Am. Now, this not only set up some great competitive matchups between some of your favorite YouTubers, but it also intertwined their communities. Fans were going back and forth about who they thought was going to win, they were...
Hold on, let me read this. It's not about cloud chasing. At the end of the day, it's content, and you know your video or stream is going to pop off. Joe usually averages about 800 to 1.1K viewers on Twitch. During the wager, it went up to 2. That's more than double the amount of viewership. He shared that on his X page as well.
Spamming which matchups they wanted to see next. We saw some great matchups like Monster versus Badge Plug, Spam versus Young Precise, and one of the biggest matchups we've seen, Glock 19 versus My Team.
Yo, I ain't gonna front. Those jerseys are crazy that Glock 19 has. That's his real jersey. That joint crazy. Flex Cool said, "Oh, so you're gonna try High Guard?" I gotta look into it. But yeah, those Glock 19 jerseys are sick.
Black Market. But there was one guy out there that kept mentioning not only my name, but Black Market's name in almost every intro he made about Pro-Am.
And eventually, we'll be playing everyone, including Black Market.
So now Joe shares in his video that Badge basically said eventually we'll be playing everyone, including Black Market. But the problem is that wasn't the only time that Badge mentioned him.
Of course, that man's name is Badge Plug. He recently created his own Pro-Am team known as the Dream Team, and with him talking about Joe Knows and Black Market in all of his Pro-Am intros, of course the fans responded. They were demanding this matchup, not only in his comment section, but in my comment sections, in my live streams over on Twitch, in the Twitch chat. Every day it was, when are you guys going to play against Badge Plug? And he was even hearting these comments and saying things like this in his intros.
So Joe recognizes when the creator that's in the topic of conversation hearts the comments, it shows acknowledgement. There was an instance one time, I forget what it was about, but I had said something about Joe Knows, and I think he misinterpreted it, and I was hearting comments as well. But I was more so hearting the comments. Again, I forget what the topic was about, but I was hearting comments solely based in acknowledging that they left the comment. So Joe reached out to me and said, said like, hey, and I said, oh, what's good, Joe? And he said, I was trying to figure out because I saw that you was hearting these comments. And I'm like, yeah, it's an acknowledgement for the comment. And maybe that's not proper etiquette on an X, but this happened a few years ago. And I was able to clear it up with Joe, but Joe does check to see if creators are hearting particular comments. And you know, in this instance, it kind of showed that Badge Plug acknowledged that the community wants to see them face off against each other. Rambo Nation, I'd be surprised if they sold 10 skins. Yeah, Glock is a monster too. He just needs more movement on his team. Too much ball watching, but they still win a lot with how they play. All right, that's good to know. Crash Out said, man, no matter how much the numbers are on Twitch 2K days are numbered because of the cheaters, Zens, and meta nonsense. All right, we're gonna let this joint play.
Say before getting into it is I know y'all want us to play everyone, and eventually we'll be playing everyone, including Black Market. We aren't scared to play anyone, as y'all have seen with playing Glock, our $1,500 wager, and now La Monza. If we lose, we lose.
So y'all heard it straight from the man himself. His goal is to play everyone. They're not afraid of anyone. They are not ducking any smoke from anybody. So naturally, we're looking to set up the matchup. For our team, Bauer, our lockdown, you guys probably know him, the loud guy in my videos that's always screaming and getting crabbed.
Hey, by the way,
he schedules the games.
By the way, y'all check out the full video. I put both videos from Badge Plug and Joe Knows in my description, or go directly to their channel if you want to see the full video. We're not going to go through the full video here, so you guys might want to see the full video.
For our team. So he reached out directly to Badge Plug to try to set up this matchup, and the response we got wasn't the typical response when trying to set up a series. Usually they'll say what day and time they're available, you work it out between the two teams, and then lock a time. But the response we got was basically,
So he's Draymond of the team. So I think it was Bauer who sent out this message, and he sent it out to him. When are we playing? And Badger's response was, Now, I imagine there was some more context to it. Joe said there wasn't any more context to it. The subject changed right after the Now, I'm thinking from that response, especially if there was no more context to it, that Badge was probably leaning towards the idea I'd holler at your boss because we're talking about creating content off of this. So we got to make sure that content delivery afterwards is done in a good way where they could both generate or they can maximize viewership. So maybe that's why he didn't share any more details, but we'll let it continue.
And then change the topic. So we figured they're not ready to play yet. So we went on about our business. We won a couple overnight tournaments, and we finally signed up for our first Comp Pro Am League on NBA 2K26, the Dunk League. We had a couple weeks to get our regular season games done to qualify for the playoffs.
Okay.
And we were patiently waiting for the bracket to drop. Keep in mind, Badge is still recording Pro-Am content, playing against other people, and even referring to matchups against us in scrimmages from 3 years ago, saying things like this.
In 2K23, when me and my friends were in the beginning of creating a team that...
And this is where things get foggy, and this is why Joe Knows feels like, why are you calling us out? Why are you calling me out? Why are you calling Black Market out? And you match us up, they match us up, and you don't show up. So I think this is where things get,
like I said, never worked out. With almost no experience,
Joe is not in
we beat Joe Knows in the early Black Market team. I think we split at 2-2.
So he's going back 3 years to 4 scrimmage games we played against each other that we ended up splitting 2-2 in the early stages of both of our teams.
Now, this is way back in 2K23 that he's talking about, y'all. This is, a few years ago. They're saying they played 4 scrimmages in 2K23. Now, in that year, they played in the All City tournament as well, the tournament that we hosted. And this is what Joe Knows is going to establish right now. Why did Badge Plug leave that out? And Joe Knows is going to mention it right now.
Now, he also failed to mention in that intro that back in 2K23, we didn't only play scrimmage games against each other. We matched up in the finals of the All City Live tournament. I believe the pot was $500, and we ended up destroying them by 24 points. And he had a very good Pro-Am team. He had well-known players like Diamond, Nip, Nate, and even my future teammate, Bullet Passer, was on that team. Now listen, I'm not tripping about that.
All right, Joe is crazy with it. I ain't gonna front. So what do y'all think about that? He talked about they matched up before. They had scrimmages that they matched up that they split 2-2, but there was a tournament that took place, and they both made it to the finals of that tournament. And you know, Joe just shared the outcome of that tournament.
I've been in the game a long time, and I understand it's an intro. You're trying to build up the future hype for Black Market versus Dream Team on 2K20.
And that's what Joe is pretty much saying, that the tournament wasn't mentioned. The All City tournament wasn't mentioned mainly because it takes away from the hype of these two matching up. And Joe is saying we already matched up and we won. We matched up 3 years ago in the beginning of both of our teams, you know, getting onto the Pro-Am scene, and we won. We'll let it play off.
And by leaving out that little bit of information, it probably built up the hype even more. Now, this is usually the part of my intro where I'll say it was a best of 3 series, money's on the line, Badge Plug versus Joe Knows, Dream Team versus Black Market. Let's get right into it and then smack y'all right in the face with that lovely Prize Picks ad. But that's not how this story plays out. So let's continue. So with more and more people requesting for this matchup to happen, and the more Badge continued to talk about it in his intros, eventually I decided to reach out myself and just say, do you want to play a series or what?
Hey, before we let this join, because he said he reached out directly. For the folks that consistently watch Badge Plug, I don't know if we have some of the folks in here that watch Badge Plug consistently. Did you guys notice Badge mentioning Joe Knows? I know Joe Knows shared a few clips in here of Badge mentioning it, but I'm wondering if it was way more often or way less often. So you guys let me know. Was Badge really mentioning, you know, his name from your perspective? We saw the amount of times that he mentioned it in this video.
What's going on? I'm not going to leak the conversation between me and Badge, but I'll generalize it and tell you guys he had certain requests for what I could and couldn't do with the potential content from the series we were potentially going to set up. So I just thought it was a little strange and pretty much just said, gotcha, and figured this is never going to happen.
All right, so there's another issue. Yeah, City, you really Barack Obama of the community. Ever since Drew said it, I can't stop. I approved this message. All right, so let's keep it a buck here. So crazy. Joe says he reaches out to Badge directly. Let's go into full screen, and we'll come back to that. Joe says he reaches to Badge directly, asking him, are we going to play? And Joe, from my experience personally, he's really straight up like that. So he asked him, are we going to play? And he says, oh, without sharing the messages, but he shared that Badge's response was pretty much about the stipulations in place for content delivery after they played their series. And from what I understand, at least there's a rumor that's going on in the 2K community, or Joe Knows even mentioned it in another video that we can cover. I'll try and pull that up right after we review Badge Plug's response. But what I think it was has something to do with who was going to drop their video first. And I think Badge wanted to drop his video first. Again, we'll double check it and make sure, so I'm not putting out false information. The last thing I want to do on any one of these guys, Badge Plug or Joe Knows, is put out false information about this stuff. But I think that's one of the stipulations that he presented to Joe Knows when Joe Knows asked him, are we going to play? What up, No Cap? All right, let's let it play off. I'm going to go back to the regular screen, and we'll let it play.
But you guys remember earlier when I said we signed up for our first competitive Pro-Am League on 2K26 and we were waiting for the playoff bracket to drop? Well, guess who we got matched up against in round 1 of the Dunk League playoffs? You guessed it. Dream Team versus Black Market.
And that's where everything hits the fan, yeah? You saw all those teams. There's exactly what Badge Plug had an issue with. Now, whether the issue is legitimate or not legitimate enough to not play the game, I think that's what's up for debate within the 2K community. A lot of people feel like, nah, they wouldn't have played. The bracket was rigged. And even more people feel like, hell nah, if your team was matched up, go and get that smoke no matter where they placed you. I'm curious to know what you guys think about that stuff.
Badge Plug versus Joe Knows in the $2,000 Dunk League playoffs. we were finally getting the matchup that all the fans were requesting. I was excited to play this matchup, and I knew Badgeplug would be as well, because in all of his Pro-Am intros, he always talks about how he hates conforming to the Pro-Am norm. The comp Pro-Am meta gameplay style of pick and roll offense every single play. He loves playing unique and different, and this is a matchup between two unique teams. I mean, check out what he says about playing different in Comp Pro-Am.
You'll notice quickly that everyone wants you to play the exact same way, which is the traditional small guard, 6'4" or under build, and you run pick and roll every play. Now, if that's how you play...
Mud Dog said, not enough to not play, but Badge has a legitimate complaint. Jack said that's suspect.
Cool, but why does everyone have to?
So not only do we know he loves unique gameplay, he loves playing against unique teams with unique builds and unique play styles. He's been talking about playing Black Market for weeks now. For the first time since 2K23, all of his fans have been demanding it, and he has even acknowledged that they are going to play because they are not scared of anybody. Listen to this whole clip.
And eventually, we'll be playing everyone, including Black Market. We aren't scared to play anyone, as y'all have seen with playing Glock, our $1,500 wager, and now La Monza. If we lose, we lose. I mean, obviously, we're massive underdogs when playing any of these teams, like especially Black Market, who've been playing the highest level of Pro-Am for years now consistently, and most of us are at just a few months, but playing these games only makes us better, and that's what we want, win or lose. So as long as y'all are entertained and respect the fact that we're even going out there and liking the videos, we're gonna keep giving it our best.
So everything.
All right. Now, with that said, now Badgeplug responds on this, and the key words is we're gonna keep giving it our best. Now, again, Badge, he responds on this whole scenario, but he doesn't feel like the team was gonna go out there and be able to give it our best, give it their best. Now, I want to add another layer on top of here, because I don't think, at least for me, I know I want to be the ones in my videos saying, hey, you know, I want to play the best teams. I want to, you know, I'm ready. I'm out here. And then when the time comes, I don't think I would have been able to, knowing that I said that and I'm a man of my word, I like to stand on my word, I wouldn't want to back out of that, no matter whether or not I feel that the bracket was rigged. I would have had to be able to prove that the bracket was rigged. And if I felt that way, I would have definitely reached out. And I'm saying that Badgeplug didn't. He may have very well reached out. But I know for me, certainly, I would have reached out to Joe Knows. I would have reached out to the league owners, especially when these are the two teams that everybody got their eyes on. We want to make sure that this is happening all organically. So I would have definitely reached out. Whether they were truthful or honest with me is irrelevant. I would have just had to reach out. There are chances. It ain't like there's a 0% chance of them getting matched up in the first round of the playoffs. So there is a chance there, which means that there was a chance that the whole thing could have happened organically. How likely that is, we'll leave that in the court of public opinion. Badge should have never said he should have played. He should have stayed 10 toes down. That's what a lot of people feel. Yeah.
Both teams were ready to play. It was the $2,000 Dunk League playoffs, round 1. The time had come. We all fired up our streams for Black Market versus the Dream Team, Joe Knows versus Badgeplug. And we were very surprised with what we saw.
Or at just a few months, but playing these games only makes us better, and that's what we want, win or lose. So as long as y'all are entertained and respect the fact that we're even going out there and liking the videos, we're gonna keep giving it our best.
So everything was set. Both teams were ready to play. It was the $2,000 Dunk League playoffs, round 1. The time had come. We all fired up our streams for Black Market versus the Dream Team, Joe Knows versus Badgeplug. And we were very surprised with what we saw.
All right, chat, I got a massive surprise for you guys, man. It looks like Badgeplug backed down from the smoke in the playoffs, left his team stranded without him. So, no Badgeplug, man. Disregard the title.
So, of course, the initial reaction is everyone freaking out about where's Badgeplug? Why is Badgeplug not here? But I've been playing Pro-Am for a long time, and I know how these things go. When you're playing Pro-Am and you have series almost every single night of the week, sometimes people are missing. you're on vacation, or you had an emergency come up, or you need to go tend to something else that's more important than video games in your life that night. So I didn't overreact. I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Hell no. Hell to the nah. I would not have given anyone any benefit of the doubt. There's the largest game on the highest competitive platform. If one person out of the largest names in this league does not show up for the game that everybody is waiting on, everybody's anticipating, hell nah, no benefit of the doubt. I should have a DM. This is my honest opinion. But I demand that level of respect. That's me personally. Otherwise, I'm not messing with you. If I don't receive a DM to say, yo, there's something fishy going on, all right, hit me up. Let me know there's something fishy going on. We'll hash it out together. Maybe they haven't built that type of relationship, so maybe that's understandable. But otherwise, if I can't prove it, I need to go out there. And if I'm not going to show up, just out of respect for what we do as content creators, it's me personally, and trust me and believe there's no shade involved in here. I'm speaking about pure principles. So if, say it was me and Badge, and say me and Badge are matching up, and I can't even compete with someone like Badge or Joe Knows, neither one of them. But don't get it twisted. We may just have a team coming into play to compete at that level. That may happen sooner than you guys will believe. Salute to All City Tron. But if I don't get a message saying, yo, I got to back out, or yo, I'm not going to be able to make it, then I'm going to be tight. I'm going to be tight. Yeah, I'm going to be tight. Like, don't waste my time as a creator knowing that we're setting this up, because when this matchup is about to take place, I'm going to keep it a buck here, y'all. And I know people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to keep it a buck here. When a matchup like Badge Plug and Joe Knows is about to take place, you're already planning the next week's worth of content. You already know where the numbers are going to go. You already know how much viewership this is going to garner. You're going to put it in your titles. Every player under them is going to put it in their titles, like Bauer did. Bauer put it in his title, and he found out at the very last second that Badge wasn't showing up. So that in itself is a matter of respect, but, you know, people got to command that respect and demand that respect. And it just goes both ways. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes that they don't respect each other enough, even as content creators, to share what was happening. Badge Plug thinking that it was fishy. Not saying maybe it didn't get to Joe Knows, or maybe it did. Maybe they had the discussion and, you know, it got swept under the rug. That's why Badge said, well, F it, I'm not going to show up then. Maybe that could have happened. That could have been a thing. This is exactly why I would love to have both of them on. I would love to, you know, mediate an interview between the two of them so they could kind of share their piece. That would be dope. So we could have all these type of questions answered. Was there a conversation prior when Badge Plug first thought that something fishy was going on and the playoff bracket was rigged? Was there a conversation and it was swept under the rug? We don't know. We don't have the full story on that. But I'll let it continue.
Figured something was going on. But then things took an insane turn. His own teammates started ratting him out, basically making it sound like he was scared to load up a virtual Pro-Am series on NBA 2K26.
Where's Badge Plug at, bro? Why did he not show up to the playoffs? Where the hell is Badge Plug at, Magic? Hopefully everything's good with Badge. I definitely wish Badge was up there.
My game's not chopping.
Is everything okay with Badge? Is he good? I didn't expect him not to play. It's tough.
Look at this last play.
Y'all see that? That's this dude, Magic. I don't know who Magic TTV is, but he said his punani hurts. And Joe is crazy for putting this up on the screen. This was obviously in the Twitch comments, but this is, from what I understand, Badge Plug's teammate saying this about Badge.
I told Magic, I said, I hope everything's good with Badge. He said his pussy hurts.
So I wanted to get to the bottom of this. I didn't want to make any accusations or assumptions without getting actual hard evidence about what was going on that night. So I reached out directly to some of these teammates that were commenting in the Twitch chat, and These messages will blow your mind. I had multiple of his teammates confirm that he literally just did not want to play the series. They even went as far as to say he tucked his tail when it came to playing in that series. And like I said, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't play every single series that Black Market plays. There's times I'm away on vacation, or I gotta handle my business with my family, or I'm just doing something that is literally more important than playing NBA 2K.
Okay, I understand.
But his teammates did not stop there. They went as far as to say he was even available and in the Discord before and after each game we played against his team, trying to coach and correct them on what they were doing wrong in the series that he didn't want to load up for.
No, even in the video, I was like, no. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. So what Joe is pretty much saying here is that Badge Plug backed out of the game while, and I got to just add this because Koza responded in the comment of one of my videos today. Koza's the one who replaced Badge Plug. From what Koza's comment said, he was the 4th person that they reached out to load up and take Badge Plug's place. Now, if I'm wrong, maybe Koza's in the stream. Maybe you could share what you, if I'm mistaking what you have meant. But from the way in which I read it, it sounded like Koza was the 4th person that they reached out to add on and take Badge Plug's place. This means they reached out to 3 other people to no avail. Koza said something about the bearded Joe Knows and all this stuff. But if he was the 4th person to reach out, if it was the 4th person, then there was time.
So the matchup,
There was time in between. There was a lot of time spent. They were trying to get folks on. Badge wasn't going to play, but he was available to play the game. He was available during the game, before the game, and after the game is what his teammates are saying. But we're going to get to Badge Plug's response to clear both sides of the story, because I cleared it up in the video, but in case you guys haven't seen the video, we're going to get to Badge Plug's response in just a second.
Is here. This is Black Market versus the Dream Team in round 1 of the Dunk League playoffs.
Tron said that's probably why his teammates were pissed. It's the fact you clearly available, but bailing on us, but you're trying to coach us. Now, I want to add to what Tron said, because at least this is what I've heard. There's a rumor going around Badge couldn't get his teammate to come together to play regular games. They hadn't played in over a week, and when it came to the night they're gonna play Joe Knows, everybody was available and ready to play. So I think there was some frustration within the team to say, oh, now I could be wrong here. I don't want to put words in Badge's. I'm not trying to put words in Badge's mouth, but there's weird little things that happen when you're playing on a team like this, especially playing with a content creator. Now, if the content creator is reaching out to you to say, yo, can we get this game going, or can we get some runs going so that we have some chemistry built up when we do play the final boss and Joe Knows, can we have something going? And nobody's available to come together, and make a team. And then on the day that, you guys find out you're scheduled or lined up to play against Black Market and Joe Knows, everybody's there. So I'm wondering, that to me sounds like there was some issues taking place behind the scenes, and there's already some animosity prior to even getting on the court that day. And I have a feeling that Badge wasn't even feeling the folks that he was running with. I'm not putting words in his mouth. That's just my personal opinion. I think there's something else there underlying that Badge wasn't feeling, and he said, nah, and kind of let them go. I couldn't leave my boys hanging either, but that's what I'm getting at. Are these guys my boys? And that's exactly what I'm trying to touch base on. Are these guys really my boys? And from the responses That's why I'm like, was there some animosity already? Because it's crazy to speak like that about Badge, and that's why I said I know for me it wouldn't happen. It might happen, but it definitely wouldn't happen twice. So this is gonna hurt Badge with recruiting players, not the dream team. Good question. Anyway, we'll let it play off.
Winner advances to the next round. Unfortunately, Badge Plug is not out there with his team. They picked up Koza. This is a best of 3 series. Let's get straight.
That's an interesting comment that one and only KB just posted. And I've considered this as well. If I didn't recognize that there was some underlying tension that I've been keeping my eye on for a little while, I could be mistaken completely. I'm not trying to say that they've been beefing for years. But I've noticed over the years just the way in which the two creators react to each other or react amongst the community. The way in which they conduct themselves amongst the community lent to the idea that there may be some weird going on, some weird energy going on between them. Because I would have thought, these are the two top dogs in the community. I would have thought they would have collabed way more often, connect way more often. But there seems to be a certain level of distance between the two. And that's been taking place for a long time. And I've always kept my eye on it. So one and only KB said, this could be manufactured beef as well. 2K is on life support and they know this. Could be WWE, the 2K version. And I think that's interesting. The only reason that I kind of dismissed that from my mind, although I don't dismiss it 100%, but the only thing that allowed me to kind of lean towards it not being that is because there already had seemed to be some underlying weird energy taking place that I was already keeping an eye on and wondering, why don't they connect more often? I could just be ignorant to the whole thing. It could very well be the case, but I'll
right into it.
All right, so that's that.
What if I told you?
So that's that, and now we're going to get to Badge Plug's response. This Badge Plug's response. We'll give him, Badge Plug, the same due that we gave Joe Knows, and we'll see what you guys have to say after hearing Badge Plug's response. Tron said, yeah, hold on. Go into full screen. Yeah, you shouldn't be building a team with that kind of possibility either. It's all about chemistry, not the best players on the same team. Badge team doesn't sound like a team. What up, Ad? What's going on, man? I think it's just 2K players in general. No one wants to collab. Not necessarily. It could be. It could be. It could be Red Dot. I'm not even going to argue that. I'm not even going to challenge that argument. But we'll let it play off. Damn, that's wild, J-Os. What up, J-Os? I'm gonna let it play off.
Oh man,
That's
I heard that
response.
I am scared to play another man on a video game. I heard the internet's been coming for me. Scared to play another man. I've beat Joe Knows before. He's beat me before. No one's scared, I can promise you that. I know you got fed one side of the story that left out my reasons to make it look like I simply just ran, but the first was the fact that Bauer said in their chat that they didn't know Penny was still in, by the way. Give us them first round of the playoffs, and then out of what, like 30 teams, by some miracle it happened? So I felt it wasn't cool to rig a game, but regardless of that, my team hadn't played in a week before the game.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I saw it. He shared. I'll go to the screenshot and maybe let's see.
I know you got fed one side of the story that left out my reasons to make it look like I simply just ran, but the first was the fact that Bauer said in their chat that they didn't know Penny was still in, by the way. Give us them.
At the very bottom, that's Bauer saying, give us them first round of the playoffs. The very next clip, trying to start any beef because I don't care. I just said gotcha and moved on. So I guess he was telling the story. I guess this is the text thread of Joe Knows sharing some of the stipulations that Badge Plug put on him. I don't want to say put on him. Maybe I should rephrase that. That Badge Plug had asked of Joe Knows. Some of the stipulations in regards to content delivery after their games. Chad Ben said makes no sense. Bauer said LMAO, don't worry. I'm signing us up for the Dunk League right now. Give us them first round of the playoffs. What Badge is saying, there must have been some pull or leverage that Bauer had to get them in the first round of the playoffs.
First round of the playoffs, sure, and then enough, out of what, like 30 teams, by some miracle it happened. So I felt it wasn't cool to rig a game, but regardless of that, my team hadn't played in a week before the game. As y'all can see from the Run and Shoot Pro-Am League we were in on a recent video of mine, I was just texting the admin, trying to see if we can get back in the league, because we didn't know they had a rule where if you don't play a single game in a week, you get kicked. So now let's refer to a clip of my video Joe used in his, and I'll be right back. But
now this is gonna be interesting, y'all. Brace yourself for this stuff. Let me see what the homies are saying in the chat before we get to this another key moment in Badge's rebuttal and response. The real question is, was it the other team Badge knew he could beat that asked for them in the first round? Will he take the coach role? Oh, well, I think Badge is fairly honest about this. What you're going to see here, this is what we're going to discuss now. I think Badge, if it was any other team, Badge would have taken it, no problem. It's the fact that it's the final boss, which he's going to share right now. It's the fact that he's playing the elite team that it became an issue. And I don't think Badge would have backed down from anybody else. Tron has been a member for 29 months. He's been a legend here on the All City platform. Salute, Tron. Appreciate you, man. If any of you guys would like to join as a member, just type !join. The link will come up. You could join today. You'll get a badge by your name that updates with each recurrent month of your subscription. Rambo Nation said Badge should have just stuck to the news. This type of stuff could mess with the bag, running from comp, making excuses, and then giving into the pressure and playing against Joe. I agree with bro. WWE is what he said. We're going to let it play off. Again, this part is really interesting as well. And Badge fully acknowledges the idea that Joe Knows team is elite and how he wanted to give like his best effort. So we're going to let it play off.
Playing these games only makes us better, and that's what we want, win or lose. So as long as y'all are entertained and respect the fact that we're even going out there and liking the videos, we're going to keep giving it our best. As y'all just heard, I said, and I quote, "We'll keep giving it our best," which I did not think we could do after not playing for a week. So
what do y'all think about that? Badge says, sure, he called out Joe Knows and Black Market team. Sure, he wanted to play everybody. He's prepared. Him and his team are ready to play everybody. But in this particular instance, we hadn't played in a week. And we're not ready to face off against the final boss on Elden Ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not ready to do that Elden Ring crazy boss right now, because that's what Joe Knows represents, the craziest boss on Elden Ring. That's what it sounds like to me. Set up the interview city. I would love to have them both on for an interview, but we'll see what happens.
Figured for the highest chance to give the community a show, we would wait until, you know, my teammates with jobs were able to play the game more consistently and we were all as well prepared as we could be. So even if you completely disagree with my two main reasons, it definitely wasn't just I didn't want to play, which my one teammate who was mad said. Anyway, why would I?
So Dougie Fresh said maybe it's a dumb question, but they knew the matchup for a minute. Why not tweet and call out the league before the playoff series? And that's what I said. I said, if it was me, I know. But these are questions that need answering, yeah? Because we don't have that information. Like I said, I don't know if Badge Plug reached out to the league owner. I don't know if Badge Plug reached out to Joe Knows. And if he did reach out to the league owner, and he did reach out to Joe Knows, and his concerns got swept under the rug, then that becomes a whole nother issue. I know if it was me, I would have been presenting that in these videos as justification, because Badge Plug already got a lot of heat for backing out of that first playoff series. I would have definitely justified this by sharing how I reached out to the league owner and I reached out to Joe Knows and nobody had anything to say. My concerns were just swept under the rug. I would have definitely shared that concern.
Be scared to play someone I've beat before. We have both beat each other in the past. Did you forget? I just posted our team losing a super close series to Glock 19. What, you thought I didn't play because I was scared to lose or I wouldn't post it? You must be new here. Absolutely nobody expects us to win. Comment after comment says we're going to lose, but we looked at Black Market as the quote-unquote final boss. That's why it took so long to play them, because it didn't make sense to fight the final boss first. And that's why they got mentioned, because they're the standard. And even the top comment on this video isn't real, talking about ducking after clickbaiting his name. Like, not a single one of my Pro-Am videos has his name in the title or thumbnail until we really played today. We actually have nothing to lose because no one expects anything but a loss. But anyway, I sent Joe this tweet on Twitter, and I said, after reflecting on the situation, I probably should have just played despite my reasons not to, but as I've been quoted saying recently, we will play anyone, win or loss, and I've never been scared to play a virtual basketball game. Anyway, even though we've played like once as a team in 2 weeks, I've talked to the boys. We've got nothing to lose. They've got everything. We can play tonight for $500, one game, winner takes all at Joe Knows. Let me know what's up. Let's give the community what they want. And so he responded by saying the community doesn't want a best of one. They want a best of three. If you don't have enough time for that, then you're just putting on a show. And
all right. I wanted to stop there because I'm pretty sure Badge is going to cut away from this tweet right here where Joe Knows responding. And I just wanted to clear it up. Badge pretty much acknowledged that Joe Knows is like the final boss and his team hadn't played in a week, and it wouldn't make sense to play the first round of the playoffs against the final boss. I guess Badge was thinking that maybe he would meet Joe Knows in the playoff bracket or later in the playoff bracket. After the situation, Joe Knows Badge Plug, reflecting on the situation, said he should have played in that game. Jonah's response said, community don't want one game. They wanted a series. You promoted and didn't show up to. So he called them out. So that's why it's little things like this that are like, wow, there's something going on between them. I know some of you guys may be thinking it's manufactured beef, but this I've noticed for a long time now. This is why I don't believe that it's manufactured. You see how he's responding to him. Community don't want best of one, period. They wanted the series you promoted and didn't show up to, period. Let's run the best of three, period. Best of three takes 1 hour to an hour and a half. Now, the reason why Joe Knows put best of three takes 1 hour to an hour and a half is mainly because Badge Plug's argument is that it's hard for him to get his team together to even compete. But they were able to come together ASAP to play against Joe Knows. To avoid that argument, Joe Knows said to Badge Plug, best of three takes only 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours. If you don't have enough time for that, then you're just putting on a show with this tweet. Let me know. I thought that was pretty raw. I ain't even gonna front. Badge Plug's sharing this response.
I was like, hey, look, I told y'all, I'm not scared to play. If that's what the people want, that's what they'll get. See y'all tonight. So here we go. A $500 wager versus Black Market, best of three. We're going to go out there. We're going to have fun. We're going to compete. We're going to try to win. But at the end of the day, even if we don't, we still win out there. Let's get it.
Okay, that's that. So that's the gameplay. And now we're going to go into, because Joe Knows had dropped another video. I thought this was funny, by the way. I don't know if you guys are seeing this on screen. Let me go into tweet. Matter of fact, hold on, let me go into tweet scroll. Take a look at that tweet right here. Y'all see this here? Joe Knows responded saying the internet is a special place. Beckton99 said Joe Knows builds are boosted from 2K headquarters. The perception of him being elite helps the company, regardless of what his attributes say. Them stats is 130 in each category. I thought that was funny. They played last night. See you on at 11. But there's one more response video that I wanted to share.
About a video that I haven't even... Responding to Badge Plug's video about a video that I haven't even uploaded yet, but it will be going live soon. So stay on the lookout. It's got...
Y'all don't be seeing this stuff. But there's some real grown man stuff. And again, this is the stuff that I've been seeing taking place, like maybe behind the scenes. It's not like, it's almost like, how do you call that? Passive aggressive. This certain level of being passive aggressive. Joe Knows put in the caption. This stuff tickles me, man. Which probably nobody else is gonna recognize, but I'm sure Badge recognizes. Joe Knows said, and he captioned this post responding to Badge about a video that doesn't exist yet, and he put the crying face emoji. So that already, you know, is speaking volumes, in my opinion. That right there is already speaking volumes. I already know what I was gonna see in this video when I played it. But we'll let it play you off.
Responding to Badge Plug's video about a video that I haven't even uploaded yet, but it will be going live soon. So stay on the lookout. It's got the whole story behind this whole kind of
That's funny, Frank.
internet drama situation. But pretty much, Badge has been promoting in his videos, playing Black Market for a month now. His team has been playing like Comp Pro-Am code matchups and league games and wagers and stuff for over a month now. And the night that it came down to our two teams playing, he didn't play. And I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt at first. Like, you know, something might have came up. Like, I understand I don't play every Pro-Am series for my team because sometimes I have something going on. But then his own teammates were in the Twitch chats basically confirming that he just didn't want to load up and that he was actually in the Discord the whole time, kind of coaching them through the series. And, like, it just got crazy. Like, it was insane. And, like, it was a wild night. And like I said, I'll have all the details on my YouTube channel. But pretty much he had a bunch of excuses of why he didn't play, or reasons, I should say, I guess is the more proper term to say. He had reasons why he didn't play. Like, he didn't have max +2 badges and, like, et cetera, et cetera. And I just feel like, listen, you can't promote something for that long. All your fans are coming to us saying, like, when you guys going to play? Why are you guys not playing Badge Plug? And it's like, bro, we're trying to. Like, we've reached out 3-4 times and it hasn't happened. And then we finally get matched up in the playoffs and you, like, basically coached your team. Like, I just feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, you would 100% be uploading this. Like, so I don't get, like... I don't really see the reason to be upset with me. The fact that, like, it's all your own doing. Like, you talked about the series, you hyped up all your fans that, you know, you're not scared of anybody, you're going to play everybody, you want to just put on a show for the community. And then when it came down time to do it, you decided not to play, which it's not a big deal to me. But again, if the shoe was on the other foot, you would be making your content from it as well. Now, the stuff you mentioned about Bauer saying in the Black Market group chat that Bauer wants to play them round 1 of the playoffs, like, yeah, because your fans have been coming to us for a month talking about when you're going to play Badge Plugs. We're like, we're trying to play Badge Plugs. So he was like, I want to play them in round 1 of the playoffs. Like, a lot of stuff gets said in the group chats. I don't know why that was, like, such a big deal, but regardless of the point. Another thing you said was, like, he's abusing his power by saying that in the Black Market group chat, which doesn't make sense. But if we're going to be honest now, and Baz, I got no problem with you, but you kind of alluded to it. You told me if we play, Joe Knows can't upload the video of the series until 2 days after you upload. Badge Plug uploads it.
Now, that sounds crazy to me. Why... that we could have a whole dialogue about that. Now, again, we're only getting one side of the story, so we could only speak on this particular side of the story, Joe Knows side. Joe Knows saying that Badge told him if they play, Joe Knows would have to upload the content 2 days later. I guess if he wins. Whoever wins this game, they upload the content on the game, they garner the viewership, then 2 days later, the other creator can then upload. So I think that sounds, it's so unfortunate. Like, YouTube is a giant place. And these two creators, between Joe Knows and Badge Plug, they garner, man, such a huge portion of the 2K viewership. Both of them. Salute to both of them for what they've done in the 2K community. Because both of them, they eat off of 2K. So the idea of... I get it. I get the idea of mentioning it, but I couldn't do that. I just couldn't find. We both eat. They see it from my perspective, and then you share it from your perspective. Maybe it's a business that I'm not familiar with on YouTube that happens amongst creators, but I can't imagine telling another creator, again, only going by what Joe Knows said. I don't have a direct response from Badge Plug. I haven't reached out to Badge Plug. We're just going through this, winging it on live stream, and I'm sharing my thoughts on it. All I know is that if a creator told me 2 days later, I would feel some sort of way about it. Hold on. Even Joe Knows is out here, and I'm sure Joe Knows is feeling like he's going to win, and Badge Plug knows he's the underdog, so maybe that's why he put that out there. I don't know. Maybe he's just saying if we do win, maybe Badge is saying if we do win, which the odds are fully against us, so the chances or likelihood of us winning are so fully against us that why not have this stipulation in place? Are you willing to put it up? Yeah, but a deal is a deal. You don't break a deal. Yes, that I get it's a boosting number strategy, but what I'm trust me, I get that aspect of it, of boosting your numbers. But what I'm saying is that these two are the largest. Both of them could literally drop a video with one character in the title and garner way more, like my whole month's viewership. Either one of them could put just NBA 2K26 on the thumbnail and one letter in the title, and they'll garner more viewership than I garner in a month. It's just how it is for them. That's how they both made it that big. So I think the idea of saying or putting a stipulation on when you can upload, knowing that both these guys are heavy hitters, I don't think it's beneficial for the community. Maybe for you as a creator, it may be beneficial to get those numbers in 2 days prior to Joe Knows, but there's something in me that feels like it's wrong. It's a good business move, definitely a good business decision, but I feel it's not putting the community at the forefront of this. I think the community would have definitely wanted to hear from Joe Knows ASAP after the game. They would have definitely want to hear from Badge Plug after the game. The same way they want to hear from Joe Knows is the same way they want to hear from Badge Plug. Equal playing ground, like equal playing field. And they both put out content and share different sides, share different perspectives. That's my thoughts on it, but we're going to let it play off.
Like, controlling somebody else's business is a lot more like abuse or trying to abuse power than talking in a group chat about who you want to play in the playoffs. Like, yeah, I just think like the way you hype the series up, the way you I never brought it up like, oh, I want to play Badge Plug's team, I want to play Dream Team. You did all this. You're the one that started the fire, and then all this other shit just added fuel onto it, and then ultimately that night happened, and that's basically the video that you responded to that isn't even uploaded yet. Pretty much just shows that like what happened that night and how it got crazy and all that stuff. So listen, I
ain't gonna front. Bearded Joe Knows is crazy. Like I said, the main reason why I think this all happened in the first place is because of this beard that Joe Knows is wearing. If Joe Knows wasn't wearing this beard, Badge would have definitely showed up, and he probably would have messed around and won that series. I ain't even gonna front, but everybody saw that Joe Knows was wearing the sweaty Pro-Am Joe Knows beard, and they said, nah. Joe hasn't touched grass in like a good 24 weeks. We're not doing this. It's a different level. You should see Glock's chorus of fire. Word, I imagine. That's what I believe happened, y'all. I don't know what you guys believe happened, but that's how I see it. It was the beard that changed the scope of everything that was happening within this tournament. Joe Knows beard probably got them matched up in the first round. That's probably exactly what happened. And maybe those are this whole series got a lot of questions that need answering. Like you guys were posing a whole lot of questions, wondering why this, because one person presents their side of the story, and then here goes another side of the story from Badge Plug, and we're trying to understand it. Like the homie said, did Badge reach out to the league owner? Did Badge reach out to Joe Knows about his concerns with the bracket being rigged? Joe Knows just said that when Bauer had asked to be in the first round of the tournaments, that was him saying that in the black market chat. So they're able to talk about that stuff in the black market chat, but I guess Badge Plug is thinking that there must have been some influence from Bauer and the black market team to get them lined up in the first round of the playoffs. And another thing I just want to add to that, which I just realized right now, another thing that I just want to add to that, a huge part of this has to do with like bragging rights. So like the last time they faced off was 3 years ago in the All City tournament, a tournament that we had hosted in our Discord. And they're talking about both, they're talking about that 3 years later. Joe Knows brought it up early on in the first video we talked about. What I'm saying is each time they face each other, it's remembered. So what would also be remembered is being knocked out in the first round of the playoffs in this particular league tournament. And I think that's another reason why Badge Plug said, hold on a second. Like, it's one thing that we play in the finals, but it's quite another thing if I'm getting knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, because you're going to have that over me. And if my team ain't up to par, then, those are bragging rights that you're going to have 3 years from now until we meet again type of stuff. So I think that's interesting. I said that it's a fact, bruh. Would have won. He'd be talking about a video would have dropped right after he was editing Lose live in his brain. To the homie that said, the homie earlier was talking about doing a study on the 2K player psyche. I think that's hella interesting. I would love to see something like that, and I believe 2K players need to be studied as well. I caught the secondhand embarrassment from salute to Badge, man. Salute to Badge. Salute to Joe Knows. It's the whole reason. One, I probably wouldn't even be here if it wasn't even for folks like them paving the way, pioneers in this community. I'm here to share my opinion and thoughts on this whole topic. So I definitely appreciate what both of those guys do for the community. But yeah, it seems to be an unfortunate situation, and it could have been handled so much differently. Not to make it seem like it's some drama that's going to extend past 2K. I love that these guys are able to keep it 2K. Like, nobody is watching this drama unfold and saying, yo, we got to worry about their safety. Nobody's even thinking that way. I love that this drama is right on the court and everybody's sharing their thoughts and opinions about either ducking or approaching the smoke. It's super dope, man. I caught the secondhand embarrassment, but to man Joe not to upload for 2 days is kind of crazy. Well, I don't know. I kind of feel the same way. It is kind of crazy. I don't think I would have put that stipulation on there, but YouTube is a business. Content creation is a business. So like I had said earlier, it's possible that Badge being the underdog going into this series, the likelihood of him winning wasn't really high. So he felt, if I do win this series, how about I get 2 days early? I don't know how the conversation took place. I know I probably wouldn't have gone that route. I think YouTube is a big enough place for everybody to eat, and these are the two largest creators. It would have been better for the community to hear both sides or both perspectives ASAP, not 2 days later. That's my opinion on it. Bash should have checked up. It's part of the game, coach, is what the homie said. Just is what it is, man. So that's my take on those are my thoughts on what took place. I'm here for the comments as well. We could just kick it and see what's going on. But you guys heard everything during this live stream. I shared a video of it earlier. In case you guys are just tuning into this live stream, I did share a video of everything that transpired earlier today. It's on my channel right now, in case you want to get caught up. He should have presented it rather than demanded. Now, we don't know if it was demanded or presented. We just don't know. Questions that need answering. Joe said that he mentioned it to him. So we don't know if there was a demand or it was just presented as an idea. I don't have a lot of experience. Me and Badge Plug did a podcast together with the good homie Brutal Sim. And, he was on the 2K crossover. I have a little bit more of a relationship with Badge Plug than I do Joe Knows. Me and Joe Knows haven't done any work together. But outside of Joe participating in our tournament, they both seem like stand-up guys. I don't understand why things could have been, why it had to get to this level before they were able to hash it out. He said he can't beat me. Other than not wanting to play cheaters, we got to be competitive no matter the competition, no matter our teammates. That's what makes us great. It's just weird now. Boogie from the Four is what Boogie from the Four said. Interesting. It's just interesting. What was dope about this is that it reinvigorates the community. This is, if you guys don't know, wagers and matchups is exactly what reinvigorated the community back in NBA 2K20. These type of matchups and this type of stuff is exactly what gets players hyped. And it's good to see that this is happening, because maybe even me watching this, now you guys know I have set up a plan to play different games or anything other than NBA 2K26 for the next 30 days. We're playing different games, but even going through this whole series, creating the content on this series, it made me want to like go out there and play. You know, it's just some hype behind it. It makes you want to go compete. I watched them both. It should have went like that. Yeah, it shouldn't have went like that. But money on the line is something is different. Type of getting your ass whooped and then hearing GG. So yeah, other than not when I play cheesy, I read that already. All right, y'all. So on that note, I'm gonna wrap up the live stream. I'm gonna get on Arc Raiders in just a minute. I might start another live stream of Arc Raiders. I think we should wrap this one up here. And if you guys are wanting to see different games, tune into the live stream.